Balance is one of those words we've been taught to admire. It sounds peaceful, it sounds mature, it sounds wise. We grow up hearing people say, you need to balance your life. You should balance your time. You have to balance your goals with your happiness. And while balance has its place in maintaining stability, it often becomes the biggest enemy of true progress. Because when you aim for balance, you end up diluting your power. When you try to spread your energy equally in all directions, you weaken the very strength that could transform your life. The truth is, you don't need balance. You need focus. You need a clear direction, a strong purpose, and the courage to give your all to one thing at a time. Balance asks for moderation, but focus demands mastery. And mastery never happens by doing everything at once. It happens when you commit deeply, relentlessly, and single-mindedly to one vision. Think about how the world works. The most powerful forces in nature are not balanced, they are focused. A river becomes powerful when it carves a single path through the earth. Light becomes a laser when it's focused on one point. Even sound becomes sharp and precise when it's directed. Everything that holds strength in this world draws that strength from focus. You cannot separate greatness from focus, they are one and the same. Most people never reach their potential because they are trying to live a life that looks balanced on the outside but feels empty on the inside. They are torn between too many priorities, chasing too many goals, saying yes to too many things. They want to grow their career, build relationships, stay healthy, learn new skills, and somehow still rest enough to feel balanced. But the result? They stay stuck in the middle of everything and excel at nothing. If you try to catch two rabbits, you'll lose both. That's the reality of divided attention. When your energy is scattered, your results are small. But when your focus is concentrated, your results multiply. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not superhuman. They just understand the power of going all in. They understand that to move the mountain, you have to push in one direction with full force, not nudge it from every side hoping it will move. When you focus, life starts to align. Your energy stops leaking into meaningless tasks. Your decisions become clearer. Your confidence grows because your progress becomes visible. You no longer waste time questioning what's next because you already know where you're going. Focus brings peace, not chaos. Balance tries to please everyone, but focus satisfies your purpose. The problem with the idea of balance is that it tries to make life comfortable, not meaningful. It tries to keep everything stable, but growth is never stable. Growth is messy. Growth is intense. Growth is demanding. It requires you to go through periods of imbalance where you give everything you have to a single goal. When a seed grows into a tree, it doesn't balance itself between the soil and the sunlight, it stretches upward with everything it's got. When a musician practices for hours on end, they're not balanced, they're obsessed. But that obsession is what creates brilliance. If you want to create something remarkable, you must give yourself permission to be unbalanced for a while. You must be willing to focus so deeply that other parts of your life take a back seat temporarily. That's not neglect, it's strategy. It's understanding that balance can come later, but right now, the mission needs your undivided attention. You can't build a masterpiece in fragments. You can't build your dream by giving it leftovers of your time and energy. You have to dedicate the best hours of your day, the sharpest moments of your mind, and the strongest beats of your heart to it. Look at the people who built legacies. None of them lived balanced lives. They worked when others relaxed. They studied when others slept. They trained when others celebrated. They sacrificed balance for a season so they could earn freedom for a lifetime. Focus demands temporary imbalance but rewards you with lasting success. Focus is not about working non-stop. It's about aligning every part of yourself, your time, your thoughts, your habits, with one goal. It's about removing distractions, cutting out noise, and simplifying your path. When you simplify, you magnify. When you stop dividing your attention among 1,000 things, your power starts to gather, and that gathered power is unstoppable. So many people spend their lives busy but not effective. They wake up, rush through tasks, multitask through the day, and go to bed feeling exhausted but unfulfilled. Why? Because they confuse activity with progress. Balance encourages activity, but focus ensures progress. Balance keeps you spinning in circles, trying to maintain everything. Focus moves you forward in a straight line. There's a myth that if you focus too much on one thing, you'll lose other opportunities. But the truth is, the more focused you are, the more opportunities you create. When you master one thing, doors start opening on their own. The world doesn't reward those who dabble in everything, it rewards those who dominate in something. You cannot be the best at what you do if you're constantly switching your attention from one thing to another. The mind is like a lens, it becomes powerful when it concentrates. Every great achievement started with a moment of focus. Every invention, every discovery, every breakthrough was born from someone saying, "This is what matters. This is what I will give my life to." Focus turns potential into power. Balance keeps potential asleep. But here's the challenge: focus requires sacrifice. It means saying no to good things so you can say yes to great ones. It means giving up temporary pleasures for permanent fulfillment. It means missing out on certain experiences so you can create the life you truly want. Most people fear missing out, but the truth is, you're already missing out on your greatness by trying to do everything. Imagine if an athlete trained only when it felt balanced. Imagine if an artist painted only when it felt convenient. Imagine if a scientist researched only when it didn't interfere with other activities. None of them would reach excellence. Excellence doesn't come from balance, it comes from focus. Life has seasons. There will be times when you need to focus on your health, times when you need to focus on your relationships, and times when your career needs your all. The key is not to balance all those at once, but to give each its proper season of total focus. When you're in your work season, give it everything. When you're in your recovery season, rest completely. When you're with your loved ones, be fully present. That's not balance, it's intelligent focus. Focus gives life rhythm. Balance gives life monotony. Focus drives passion, balance maintains safety. But safety never made anyone extraordinary. You might say, "But I don't want to burn out." And you're right, focus doesn't mean burnout. Focus means intentional direction. It means working smart, not scattered. It means you know what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Burnout happens when you try to balance everything and end up exhausted. But when you focus, you channel your energy efficiently, and that creates momentum, not fatigue. When you have focus, even your rest becomes purposeful. You rest not because you're escaping work, but because you're preparing for more of it. Focus gives meaning to every moment because you know it's connected to something bigger. Think about how much time you lose every day to distraction. Every notification, every unnecessary task, every thought about what others think, it all steals your power. Focus means reclaiming that power. It means saying, "My attention is mine. My energy is mine. My time is mine." And when you own your time, you own your destiny. Most people are not defeated by lack of talent or opportunity, they're defeated by lack of focus. They start strong but quit halfway because they spread themselves too thin. They lose sight of their vision because they keep trying to juggle too many things. But you can choose differently. You can choose to live with precision instead of confusion. You can choose to direct your life instead of reacting to it. Focus turns your mind into a weapon. It cuts through excuses, distractions, and doubt. It gives you clarity in chaos. It helps you see what truly matters and what doesn't. And once you train yourself to live with that kind of clarity, your results will feel almost inevitable. When you decide to focus, your world starts to transform. The people who don't align with your mission will fade away. The habits that don't serve your growth will naturally drop. The noise around you will lose its power. It won't happen overnight, but every day you stay focused, your strength compounds. The world belongs to those who can focus long enough to finish what they started. Anyone can begin, but few can stay consistent. Anyone can dream, but few can commit. Focus is what separates those who wish from those who achieve. If you truly want to change your life, you must train your focus like a muscle. Start with small commitments and expand from there. Choose one priority each day and give it your full attention. Learn to say no often and unapologetically. Protect your time like it's gold, because it is. Eliminate what doesn't move you closer to your purpose. Remember this: balance feels good today, but focus builds the tomorrow you want. Balance keeps you where you are, focus takes you where you've never been. So, stop trying to do it all. Stop trying to be everything to everyone. Pick your direction. Pour your energy into it. Trust the process. Let go of the need to please and the need to appear balanced. The world may not understand you at first. They may call you obsessed, extreme, or unbalanced. But one day, those same people will look up to you and call you successful. Because success is never born from balance. It's born from relentless focus, from the decision to give yourself completely to something meaningful. And when you finally reach the life you dreamed of, when you stand in the reality you once only imagined, you'll understand that focus was never a sacrifice, it was the path. You don't need balance. You need focus. You need direction. You need a reason so strong that nothing else can pull you away from it. The world rewards the focused. The world remembers the focused. So, focus your mind, focus your time, and focus your life. Everything you want is waiting for you on the other side of focus. There is a common belief that the happiest, most successful people are those who live balanced lives, those who perfectly divide their time between work, relationships, rest, and recreation. But if you look closely at the people who actually shape the world, who create, innovate, and inspire, you'll see something very different. They are not balanced. They are focused. They have learned to prioritize purpose over pleasure, progress over perfection, and focus over balance. Because they understand that balance is comfort, but focus is transformation. Balance keeps you safe, but focus moves you forward. When you decide to focus, you take control of your life. You stop being pulled in every direction by expectations, distractions, and opinions. You begin to see what truly matters. You begin to realize that life isn't about doing everything, it's about doing the right things. You don't win by scattering your energy, you win by channeling it. You don't win by trying to make everyone happy, you win by staying true to what moves you closer to your purpose. Focus demands discipline. It's not a mindset you're born with, it's one you train. It's built through conscious choices, through small sacrifices, through the ability to say no more often than you say yes. The greatest people in any field are not the ones who had the most talent, they're the ones who knew how to concentrate their attention. They learned to block out noise, ignore distractions, and stay locked in on what mattered most. Look at the most successful athletes. They train relentlessly, day after day, often sacrificing leisure, comfort, and sometimes relationships, all for the sake of one goal. Look at the greatest thinkers, artists, and entrepreneurs. They aren't balanced, they are committed. They give their energy fully to their craft. They don't chase 10 things at once, they master one thing until the world cannot ignore them. That's not luck. That's focus. Balance is for those who want peace. Focus is for those who want power. There's nothing wrong with peace, but you must ask yourself what you truly want from life. Do you want a peaceful existence or a purposeful one? Because purpose requires intensity. It requires you to live with intention, to cut through the noise, and to give yourself permission to go all in on what matters. When you commit to focus, you become selective. You start guarding your energy like it's the most valuable currency you own, because it is. You stop wasting time on things that don't move you forward. You stop giving energy to people who drain your spirit. You stop chasing every opportunity and start mastering your priorities. That's the secret most people never learn. Your life doesn't change when you do more, it changes when you do what matters most. We live in a world that glorifies busyness. Everyone is multitasking, juggling, balancing. But here's the truth: busyness doesn't mean progress. You can be extremely busy and still go nowhere. You can have your calendar full and your life empty. Because motion doesn't always equal movement. Focus is what turns motion into movement, and movement into achievement. Every yes you say to something meaningless is a no to something important. That's why focus begins with clarity. You have to know what you want. You have to define your mission so clearly that nothing can distract you from it. Because if you don't define your priorities, the world will define them for you. People will pull you in every direction, opportunities will tempt you, distractions will seduce you, and you'll end up wondering why you feel lost even though you're doing everything. The focused person, on the other hand, knows their direction. They wake up every day with a clear sense of purpose. They know what deserves their energy and what doesn't. They know that saying no to many things is what allows them to say yes to excellence. They don't chase balance because they understand that balance spreads energy thin, while focus multiplies it. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is focus. It's the invisible line that separates people who live in mediocrity from those who live in mastery. You can have all the resources, opportunities, and intelligence in the world, but if you lack focus, you'll never use your full potential. Focus is the filter that turns information into action, and effort into impact. There's a reason why a magnifying glass can burn through paper. It's not because it creates energy, it's because it concentrates it. The same sunlight that warms your skin can ignite a fire when it's focused. That's exactly how focus works in life. Your energy, your thoughts, your time, they all have power, but they only create results when directed toward one point with intensity and consistency. But let's be honest, focus is not easy. It's uncomfortable. It's lonely. It requires you to walk away from distractions that others embrace. It requires you to prioritize your long-term growth over short-term comfort. It asks you to live differently from the crowd, to give up balance in exchange for greatness. And most people won't understand that choice. They'll call you obsessed, rigid, even selfish. But remember this, the people who call you obsessed now will one day call you successful later. Focus has a cost, but it also has a reward. The cost is discipline, time, and sacrifice. The reward is mastery, peace, and freedom. The person who learns to focus no longer lives in confusion or chaos. Their path becomes simple. Their decisions become clear. They don't wonder what to do next because they already know. They're not easily shaken by failure because their eyes are on the bigger picture. Focus creates clarity, and clarity creates strength. When you focus, your potential compounds. You start to see the hidden progress that balance could never give you. Every small, consistent action adds up. Every focused hour builds momentum. And soon, what once felt impossible becomes inevitable. Because focus creates flow. It helps you enter that mental state where time disappears, where effort feels natural, where you become completely immersed in the task at hand. That's where greatness is built, in the quiet hours of focus, not the noise of balance. Focus teaches you patience. It teaches you the value of persistence. It helps you understand that not everything will show results immediately, but consistency will always pay off. Balance chases instant gratification, focus builds long-term transformation. Balance looks for comfort, focus builds character. The focused person is not perfect, they are purposeful. They still face distractions, doubts, and setbacks. But what makes them different is their ability to realign. When they drift off course, they return to their mission. When they face failure, they learn and refocus. Focus is not about being flawless, it's about being faithful to your vision. Every time you focus, you strengthen your willpower. You rewire your brain to choose progress over distraction. You start to see life as a series of intentional choices rather than random reactions. And that awareness changes everything. Because when you control your focus, you control your reality. The beauty of focus is that it simplifies your life. You stop needing balance because you stop trying to juggle things that don't matter. You stop comparing yourself to others because you're too busy improving yourself. You stop fearing the future because your direction is clear. Focus doesn't just create success, it creates peace. Because when you know what matters, you stop worrying about what doesn't. Ask yourself right now, what deserves your focus? What goal, dream, or purpose have you been neglecting because you've been trying to balance too many things? What are you holding onto that's draining your energy but adding no value? The moment you answer that honestly is the moment your life begins to change. If you truly want to grow, you have to start making hard decisions. You have to cut out distractions that keep you comfortable but stagnant. You have to say no to things that used to fit your old life but don't align with your new one. You have to stop chasing approval and start chasing results. That's what focus looks like in action. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. The people who stay focused are the ones who finish what they start. They're the ones who make promises and keep them. They're the ones who dream and execute, not just talk. Because focus is not a thought, it's a habit. It's a muscle you build through repetition. Every day you stay committed, you strengthen it. Every time you resist distraction, you sharpen it. And eventually, focus becomes who you are, not just what you do. You can't fake focus. You can't pretend to be committed while living distracted. True focus shows in your results, in your consistency, in your energy. It shows in how you spend your time when no one is watching. It shows in the sacrifices you make when it would be easier to give up. Focus is integrity in motion, it's your word made visible through action. So don't chase balance. Chase purpose. Don't seek comfort. Seek clarity. Don't aim to do everything. Aim to do the right thing with everything you've got. Because when you give your full self to one mission, life begins to move differently for you. You'll notice opportunities aligning, doors opening, and results multiplying. The universe rewards the focused because focus creates momentum, and momentum attracts everything you've been working for. There will be days when it feels like you're missing out, when balance looks tempting. But remember, balance gives you moments of peace, while focus gives you a lifetime of meaning. Focus will take you to places balance can't reach. It will demand more of you, but it will also give more back. In the end, you must decide who you want to be. The person who seeks balance and stays comfortable, or the person who seeks focus and becomes unstoppable. The first will live an ordinary life, the second will create an extraordinary one. You don't need to do more, you need to do what matters. You don't need to please everyone, you need to serve your purpose. You don't need balance, you need focus. Because when your mind, your time, and your heart are all aligned with one goal, nothing can stand in your way. So commit. Simplify. Focus. Let everything else fade into the background. Because the life you dream of will never be found in balance, it will be built in focus. At the end of the day, everything you desire, success, freedom, peace, mastery, comes down to one simple truth: you become what you focus on. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, results grow. Balance might make life look neat and organized, but focus makes life powerful and meaningful. Don't let the world convince you that you have to do everything to be someone. You don't. You just have to do one thing with everything you have. You have to pour your heart, your time, and your discipline into what truly matters to you. Because the deeper you focus, the further you go. The most powerful people are not those who live the most balanced lives, they are those who live the most directed ones. They know who they are, what they want, and where they're going. They are not distracted by noise or pulled by opinions. Their vision is stronger than their fear, and their focus is sharper than their doubt. You don't need to balance everything, you need to focus on something. You need to give yourself fully to the mission that sets your soul on fire. And when you do, the world will adjust. The people who matter will understand. The results will come. And the peace you were searching for through balance will find you through focus. So, stop waiting for perfect balance. Stop trying to divide your greatness into equal parts. Instead, focus your energy, narrow your vision, and commit to one powerful direction. Because in the end, it's not the balanced life that changes the world, it's the focused one.